When people visit your home, do they say, wow, what a nice house this is? Or do they say it's a little bit tacky? Hey, I'm Pete Torriello.
And I'm Maureen Torriello.
Welcome to the Sonic Boomers podcast. And on this edition, we are talking about the things that make your home look tacky. These are actually based on an article that we found on a website called reallifediy.com. And the article was written by Micah Isla, and it's called Tacky Decor Items That Can Instantly Downgrade Any Home. And if you look even on YouTube, there are hundreds of design enthusiasts or designers who are going to tell you what they think makes your home look good or tacky. Maureen and I are not designers. We have never studied interior design. We don't profess to be design experts, but we are design enthusiasts.
And we know what we like
And
what we don't like.
And if we come to your home and it's a little tacky, we won't say anything to insult you.
Talk about you afterwards.
Yeah, behind your back.
No, only kidding.
Only kidding, folks. So number one, futons are way outdated, the writer says. Futons can serve their purpose well. Great for those who have little space, don't have a lot of money to invest in furniture, may be decorating for the first time. And if you're looking for ways to spruce up your space, ditch the futon. Tacky, tacky, tacky.
Okay.
Do you agree?
I guess. I don't know if I necessarily call it tacky, but I think that there are nicer ways to accommodate people.
There are some nice futons, but to me, they say basement room,
college dorm
kind of a thing. Certainly not the kind of thing that you want to see in somebody's living room. Here is number two, and this one is going to upset some people.
Okay.
Live, laugh, love.
Oh, okay.
The live, laugh, love, any kind of signage. And we have a little bit of signage in our house, okay? But we like it. To me, signage is okay if it makes a statement about who you are. Something that is a foundation belief to you. Like we have a large sign in our kitchen that was a home warming gift from our daughter, and it says, friends and family gather here. And some designers would say, oh, that's tacky. That's who we are. We want friends and family gathering here as much as possible. That sign says something about who we are.
I think the tackiness comes into play more with signs that are like where it says kitchen, bathroom, toilet.
I walked in here and there was a refrigerator and a sink, and cabinets with food in them. Son of a bitch. It's a kitchen.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wait a minute. There's a toilet in here.
And a tub,
and
too.
A sink and a tub. Oh, I must be in the bathroom. If you need a sign to tell you that you are in the bathroom or in the toilet, you've got much bigger issues than design.
Exactly.
So I'm kind of thumbs down on stuff like that.
Yeah.
But stuff that is a credo or a core value to you.
Or a personal message.
Yeah.
Like we have the one in our living room, and it's the couple of us looking out at the ocean, and it's like, we've got this. And I ordered that when you were going through your cancer treatments and stuff, and I wanted you to be able to look at that and think, we got this.
I still get weepy when I look at it, because it's us. It really says who we are.
Right.
And what we were about at that time.
And I make no apologies for that one.
Plastic storage containers. If they're in the basement, if they're in the garage, I'm okay with that, because we have
I think they're
crap load of them downstairs.
Yeah, I think they're talking about plastic containers in plain sight, as opposed to, something a little bit more upscale, like maybe a wicker basket or something. I think people that use the plastic containers with those drawers and stuff, and they just have them out in the room, I think that's what they're referring to.
Yeah, it's tacky. It's tacky. If you can hide it...
It looks cheap.
It looks cheap, tacky. And if you can hide it inside, like you said, in a nice wicker basket or something, It just elevates, as the
Exactly.
designers like to say.
Right, yes.
It elevates the room.
Yes.
Untidy cables are an eyesore. And I agree. They really do look tacky. Even in the office here, if we were to spin this camera around, which we're not going to do, you would see our other computer station that I do my job from. And there's just a lot of cables, and no matter what you do with it, it looks unkempt.
Again, I don't know that there's much you can do to avoid that, other than possibly like getting twist ties or something to bundle them, or maybe if you have like a TV on the wall and you have a wire running down, or a wall sconce with a wire running down, they do sell covers that you
Yes.
can put over the wire to kind of make it less obvious.
Or if you don't mind spending a little bit of money, you can have somebody come in and bury them behind the wall for you.
Yeah, but,
it's going to cost you a little
It's
something.
going to cost you, and then you're married to that, where it always has to be that way. You can't ever make any changes.
And you can also, they sell channels that would go under your desk or behind the desk that you can route the cabling through and hide it. So there are ways around it. Some of them are cheap. Some of them are a little more costly. Here's one of my favorite peeves.
Okay.
Shag rugs. Nothing says grandma house like shag.
Right.
Like your mom's house had that shag carpeting. As soon as you walked in there, it said grandma house.
Well, no, when she had it, that was the style. It was the 70s. That was acceptable then. It's not now.
It shouldn't have been. They used to sell a rake
Right.
to rake the shag, because after a while it gets flattened out.
It gets flattened, sure.
It gets dirty. It gets flattened out. To me, it was never a good idea.
Well, it used to feel good to walk through it in your bare feet, and it was very comfy if you were sitting on the ground, laying down on the floor watching TV or something. It had its time, but it's over with.
If you grew up in an Italian family,
Which I did not.
but if you grew up in an Italian family, you had these plastic couch covers. I had one friend, the living room didn't even have a television set. It was a sitting room, or a parlor, what some people
Yeah.
used to call.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to watch TV, you went down to the basement.
Okay.
But there were plastic covers on everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good look.
No.
And it's uncomfortable. It's hot.
Right,
You
you stick to
sweat.
it.
You stick to it. It's just not a good thing. Ditch the DIY furniture. It can be a fun hobby. It can even be a way to decorate your house with personal touches to make it feel homey. For instance, taking wooden crates and stacking them as a TV console may seem cool initially, but it does give up sort of a backwoods rustic vibe.
I'm not sure about what they're considering DIY. Are they talking about IKEA where you're putting it together?
No, I think they're talking about like pallets, like
Okay.
wooden shipping pallets.
Right.
People will take that and make it into something. And I think that's what they're referring to versus IKEA.
There's also that show Flea Market Flip, which I enjoy, where they go through a flea market and they buy stuff that looks like crap and they turn it into usable
Other stuff
pieces.
that looks like crap.
No, a lot of times it's really nice. If done well, I don't have a problem with DIY furniture. I kind of like the creativity of it.
The only attractive thing on Flea Market Flip is Lara Spencer, the host. That's the
No,
only thing.
you're
That's
wrong.
the only thing attractive on that show.
You're wrong.
Okay, what about kitchenware racks?
You mean like for the pots and pans kind of thing?
Yep,
Nah, I don't like them.
I don't like it. I don't like the way it looks.
Necessity might dictate that you have to do that. Aside from the clutter issue of just seeing all this stuff out, most people, if you're a cook and you're using this stuff all the time, day in and day out, chances are your pots and pans are not all that attractive anymore. They don't stay bright and shiny and the pretty colors that they were when you first bought them. The chances are they've blackened, they've gotten a little bit scraped and scratches on them. And do you really want that out on the wall to display?
Yeah. Or what about knives that are stored in like these butcher block
Yeah.
holders?
Well, I think you're kind of
Providing that everybody in your home is mentally stable, it's probably not too bad. But if you've got one or two people in your house that are a little, you may want to ditch that.
Or little kids. I don't have a problem with the block because I think that's something that you put the knives in and keeps them from getting dull, doesn't it?
I don't know if it keeps them from getting dull. It just gives you somewhere to store them. Because I don't think there's any sharpening thing or
There's
anything.
not anything sharp, but I think it keeps them from rubbing up against each other. And like if you throw them in a drawer, they're going to be like rubbing against other pieces of cutlery, maybe getting jounced around by putting them in and out of the block. I think it keeps them straight, keeps them from bending. So I think it serves a purpose. Maybe
Next,
you don't need it out on your counter.
matching couches and curtains.
Oh, no.
The opposite of trendy.
Again, probably in the 60s-ish time
This
frame.
is something that my mom would have done.
Well,
She would have matched the curtains to the couch or the love seat or something like that.
Everybody would have. And I remember, like, as a teen, I wanted my bedroom to have a bedspread and curtains that matched. You know, the same. When I'm saying matching, I don't mean that the colors go. I mean the exact same print. Like if you had a striped bedspread, you had a striped curtain. And the same way with the couches and stuff. If you have a floral couch, then your curtains are the same fabric made into curtains. And that look, again, has gone out. It was fine in its day, and I don't begrudge anybody that did that back then because that was what you did.
Here's one that I have a real problem with. Okay. Unless you live in the far out parts of Arizona,
I think I know
New Mexico,
I think I know what's coming here.
Texas, where they're screwy anyway. Animal skulls do not belong in anybody's home, in any room in the house. If it's not a genuine skull, it's artwork with a skull on it. I've been seeing those too a lot on YouTube. You know, an animal with the big long horns, like a bullhead or something,
Texas
or whatever
Longhorn,
it is.
yeah.
It's like, no, this was never a good look. It's not going to be a good look at any time. Why would you do this?
Well, again, I think in the rustic setting, it's what what you're into. And the other thing that I don't like is taxidermy, where you have like the stuffed moose head or a deer with the antlers.
It's all well and good if you live in the American Museum of Natural History and you want to live there amongst the mastodons and the stegosauruses and creeposauruses and whatever they got. But in your home, it's got no place.
I think some people do it because they're hunters and that's their hobby, and they're proud of this catch that they had, or
I
like
shot that myself, you know.
Or a fish, when they mount the fish on the plaque and they put that on the wall.
Do you remember that TV commercial for the fillet of fish at McDonald's?
No.
And they had the fish on the wall and it started singing.
Oh, they used to sell that.
Give me my fillet of fish. Give me that fish. Do you remember that?
Well, I don't remember the commercials as much, but they used to sell a singing bass like as a kind of a novelty thing that you could put it on the wall, and it played different songs.
Yeah, you don't want one of those.
No.
French country style is out of style. What do you think?
It's not my taste. I like touches of things. I don't necessarily like to go all in on any particular style. I think it's kind of had its day.
If you live on the French countryside, okay, but otherwise...
Well, it's a very homey look, and it's a very little house on the prairie, comforty kind of thing with the patchwork and the...
It's a little too frou-frou for my taste.
Well, it's more of it is more feminine looking, I think.
Faux plants. Folks, I don't care what anybody tells you on the internet. Faux plants just don't look like real plants. They just don't. And they don't do anything for it. They get dusty. They don't give off oxygen. It's not a life-giving thing. In fact, some of them off-gas. Because we've bought some cheap plastic plants like for outside.
Yeah.
And you open the bag and like the off gas, it almost knocks you out. It can't be good for you.
Yeah.
So I would say either do real plants or don't do them at all.
Some of them are pretty good. I wouldn't say that it's ever going to fool you 100%, but if you can afford a really good quality one and you don't have a green thumb and maybe you don't have a good spot to put, the plant will look nice there, but a real plant would never thrive there because there's not enough light or there's not enough water sources or things like that. I can give you a pass on that as long as you get a good quality one. Don't get the dollar store plastic ones.
Bold statement walls. What do you think?
Like an accent wall? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem. I don't think it makes it look tacky.
I'm okay with the accent wall. I like the ones that we're seeing where they have the wood strips. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're horizontal, sometimes they're vertical, and they use it as a focus point
Yeah.
in the room. I like those.
Or they make like a pattern on the wall.
Yeah, plus they help, if your room is a little reverberant, they help to break up the sound a little bit.
Okay.
But they look cool.
Yeah.
Not a fan of wallpaper.
I like it, but not a whole room. I like to see sometimes like an accent wall.
Yeah.
And the problem with wallpaper is you kind of have to commit to it. Once you do it,
Yeah.
it's darn hard to go back to saying, oh, you know what? I'm going to take this wallpaper down and I'm going to paint.
If you are not a Cracker Jack wallpaper hanger, this is not a road that you need to be traveling.
Let's see, you can hire somebody.
Yeah, you can hire somebody. It could be expensive. Could be expensive.
For one wall, probably not that bad.
The all-white kitchen.
Not a fan.
For a while, that was the rage.
Yeah, and it still is, I think. But I think it's very impractical.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down on the all-white kitchen, as in thumbs down. Not
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
I'm down.
as the kids say nowadays. I don't even know what they say that. Okay, so thumbs down on the all-white kitchen. Hey, famous artwork reproductions are cheesy. Do you agree?
Pretty much. Unless it's one that means something to you that you really have like some kind of a connection or a story about.
We like Starry Night.
I
Van Gogh
do,
Starry Night.
but I
But it
still
doesn't work in the house.
And I wouldn't go out and buy it and have a reproduction of it.
You can get some artwork that is really inexpensive and it looks good. Like the piece that we have in our living room now.
Yeah.
It's really terrific, I think, because it matches all of the palette
Yeah.
in that room.
Yeah.
And it's not a classic art piece or something,
No,
you know?
no. And, if you can afford to support a local artist, that's such a nice thing to do.
It is.
And you're getting a one-of-a-kind piece.
Blanket ladders. It's a ladder, basically, kind of on the decorative side, and people hang blankets on them. I could do without it.
I could do without
Do
that,
without
too,
it.
yeah.
Ruffled furniture skirts.
No.
Bad look. Very
look.
dated. Very grandma house kind of thing. Very tacky. Glass furniture. It looks great in House Beautiful. It looks great in Architectural Digest. It looks great in the pictures you see on the internet, but they've been cleaned. They've been polished. They've been styled. Great pains have been taken to get the right illumination, and they look fabulous. In real life, it's fraught with peril.
No, I don't have a problem with them. I would almost rather have the glass furniture because if somebody puts a glass down there and leaves a mark, it comes right up with some Windex. If somebody does that on a piece of wood furniture,
You might have ruined
you
the
might
wood,
have ruined the
which is
wood.
why I give our guests coasters,
I know, but not everybody uses them, and
as we know.
not everybody uses, and you don't always get it out there fast enough or
We had
whatever.
the funny part was we had a guest come to the house, and I put the coasters out on the coffee table, and the guest puts this wet glass on and I'm like, use the coaster. I was like apoplectic
I know.
about it. We had glass and chrome when our kids were little, but you get one of the kids eating a cookie or something, and it's all squishy and gushy, and now they're touching the chrome furniture, and you've got a mess on your hands.
You got a mess anyway.
It's a great look in photography, but in real life, high maintenance.
I think it's less maintenance. I do. I think the Windex takes care of it. I disagree. Because it's clear and see-through, it doesn't occupy as much visual space in the room. You tend to look through it, and it doesn't look as cluttered.
Small rugs make your space look awkward.
Yeah.
It's very popular to put a small rug in the living room under the coffee table. And the designers will tell you that you should have at least the front legs of all of your seating area furniture on the rug to ground the room, to define the sitting area. If you have a little postage stamp rug under your coffee table, not a good look.
Yeah, I don't think too many people really do that. But I do think that sometimes, depending on the dimensions of your room, it's hard to find a carpet that's the right size. So people make compromises, and maybe the rug is not exactly a perfect size for the room.
This is going to upset some people.
Okay.
Shot glasses are not decor.
Some people collect
People
them.
collect them, and they have them displayed on shelves in their living room, or maybe in the man cave.
I'd say
If you got one, maybe in the man
cave, or if you have a bar. I think that
might
they work there.
But otherwise, this is not decor, and it makes your house look like a college dormitory.
Okay.
But I know we're going to get blowback from people on that. Well, I have a whole collection of them that I got from the Grand Canyon and my vacation in Canada, and my Aunt Tilly sent me this from Ireland, and it's like,
yeah.
Okay, well, keep it in Ireland. It doesn't belong in your home except in a man cave or a bar or something.
Okay.
So, as Nick Lewis said in one of his YouTubes, there's no need to display your alcoholism. Just kidding. Hey, look, if you like any of these designs that we have deemed as hey, God bless.
You do you.
You do you. Do what you like. We're just a couple of people shooting our mouths off about what we think is tacky and what we think is cool. So thank you for watching this edition of the Sonic Boomers and listening. Please do us a big favor. Like and subscribe. It really helps us out. I'm Pete Torriello.
And I'm Maureen Torriello.
We'll see you next time.